Hey, it's Jason from Pro Guitar Studio, and today we're going to take a look at third intervals. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show you how to play these third intervals on just two strings, okay? So on strings 2 and 3. The reason why I'm doing that is because it's the easiest way to play them. We only need to have a stretch of 1 fret, so it's pretty easy to get into. Not that this piece is easy to play, but it's easy to get into compared to other strings. And I'll sort of go over that concept in a minute. But the sound that you're going to hear here is all over the place from every genre you can imagine. So it's a really good thing to actually understand and learn how to use. And so if we dive into the theory behind it, a third interval is basically 2 notes, a set of notes, that are 3 notes apart in a scale. So if we're playing through the major scale, this is an example where we have 7 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. From the first note to the third note is a third interval. From the second note to the fourth note is a third interval, and so on. So with what we're doing here, we're getting basically, if you go into chord theory, we're getting the first 2 notes of a 3-note chord. Okay, so the first 2 notes of a triad. And the terms for these are major thirds and minor thirds. And you can imagine if we have a major chord, typically the reason why it's a major chord, or no, the reason why, not typically, but the reason why it's a major chord is that it has a major third. If we have a minor chord, it's got a minor third. Okay, so that's why these can be important, because number one, they can highlight the chords that you're playing, but also provide harmony. Okay, so if you hear a vocal harmony, oftentimes they're playing third intervals on top of a specific note. So if you have a melody note, they're going to go 3 notes higher and sing that harmony on top of that original note. And that's where you get those nice sounding harmonies. So to dive in here, I'm going to show you the 2 strings we're doing. So we're doing string number 2 and string 3, the B and G string. And the reason why I chose those 2 is because on the other sets of strings, we need to have a 1 and 2 fret spread, whereas this one we have basically notes on the same fret or 1 fret apart. Okay, so we're going to go through the G major scale. We're going to play the open 3rd string and open 2nd string. And that's our first set of intervals. Now, if you remember, if you've learned before, like the order of chords in a major key, it goes major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. Now, in this case here, the third intervals will follow that. Just think of when you get to the diminished, it's actually a minor as well, because we're only dealing with the third interval, okay? If what I'm saying there is very confusing, just follow through and actually play these notes. Don't worry about actually understanding what's happening until after. You can always revisit the theory later on. So, string number 3 and 2, open. Going to the 2nd fret on string 3 and the 1st fret on string 2. And this is the A note, and this here is the minor third interval. Okay, so major on the same fret, minor, where the 2nd string is 1 fret behind. And the next one is a B, so 4th fret, minor. So 3rd fret on string number 2. Next up we have a major, so 5th fret, which is a C, and we're on the same fret. So I'm using my middle finger always on string number 3 here. Ring finger on string number 2 for the 5th fret. Next one is a D major, so 7 and 7. Again, my middle finger and ring finger. Then we have a minor again. So 9, which is an E. And we have the 8th fret, string number 2. Minor, okay. The next one would have been diminished, but we're going to look at it as minor right now because we're just doing third intervals. F sharp and A on top. So 11, 10. Again, middle finger, index finger, right? And the final one, 12 and 12, back to our G. And that's what I'm using here. Okay, I'm going to use just those set of third intervals. Now, this piece, like I said, might be a little challenging to play because we're going in and out of different intervals, but this is a musical way you can use it. So instead of just playing the exercise up and down, we can have something musical. Not that that's not musical, but this will be more musical. Now, if you want to start off that way, any students here, you're going to see a PDF of just those intervals at the start of the piece. Okay, so I'll outline those first. And then we'll dive into the actual piece we're going to play. So we're going to start off with the first 2 notes. Open string number 3 and 2. Twice in a row. And then we go to 2 and 1. And 4 and 2. 4 and 3, sorry. Back to 2 and 1. And open strings again. Now I'm going to go to 7 and 7. And in between, I'm actually pausing or doing a staccato in between the 2 7th frets there, back to the 5th fret. And I'm actually doing it after both of those 7s. Now the second phrase is exactly the same except for the last 3 notes. Then we're going to go to 11 and 10, and then 9 and 8. Same kind of rhythm. Okay, so first one. Second one. Back to our first phrase. Now the final phrase is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to actually pick these notes individually. So we're going to go to 12 and 12, string 3 and 2, 11 and 10, 9 and 8, 7 and 7. And then I'm going to slide in from 3 to 4 on string number 3. Play the third fret string number 2. And then the last 2 notes together, 2 and 1. Okay, so from the beginning. And then the picking part. So there we have it. Like I said, it's not going to be the easiest piece to learn right away, but it gives you a nice musical way to actually use those third intervals. Now, if you like this sound and you like using these, you can always come back later and learn how to play this on strings like, let's say it's 2 and 1, right? Now, this one, we have to be able to stretch out further. So a little more challenging, but that will be next up, right? So later on when you want to revisit that, I'll be sure to make a lesson probably in a few weeks on those third intervals on the other strings. And I'm sure I have one already made up, so I'll include a link in the actual description if there is a lesson I can link to, and also above here. That will help you work on your third intervals on different sets of strings, okay? So have fun with this. If you have questions, let me know. And as always, if you like this, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. Helps me know what you're enjoying and what to provide you with each week. But more lessons like this coming your way each week, so I'll see you soon.